Hey, good evening, my friends. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa giving you an evening update on the storm system that's heading this way. First off, I should tell you, it is a big moisture-laden storm system. We're going to have quite a bit of precipitation out of this storm system, so you're definitely going to want to keep updated here on MLive with us as we track the storm here over the next 24 to 48 hours or so. I have my comments open here, and if you want to ask anything, just let me know. Hey, Beth Bloomer Urick. Hey, good evening. And Lori DeFresney, thanks for watching. So what we're going to talk about here, and those of you that don't know, we do this every morning around 8:30, 8:45 or so. We're going to talk about the timeline to the storm system, how much snow, more importantly, how much ice, and probably maybe even as important, how much rain is on the way. Hey, good afternoon, evening, Marnie May from West Olive and Kurt Glupka. Good evening, Dwayne Monville. Good evening to you. So let's get to it and show you what's going on. All right, so we have two models that we look at. We look at the U.S. model, the European model. The U.S. model does not look right to me, so I'm showing you exclusive the European model. It has been very consistent. There can still be some tweaks to this, so that's why I say you'll definitely want to keep in touch with us here on MLive over the next couple of days. So let's go to it and show you what's going on. How much ice accumulation for Jackson, Tara Brown? We will get to that. You'll get a shot of ice, and then you'll probably be one of the lucky sectors that warms up some. So you're looking at the European through the day tomorrow. My message to you is if you have to travel tomorrow or Saturday, tomorrow. That is the only correct answer, tomorrow, okay? And this is Saturday morning at noon, or I'm sorry, at 7 in the morning, right there, 7 in the morning. So what you see happening there is the colder air is coming in from the south, the moisture is coming in, colder air is coming in from the north, the moisture is coming in from the south and west. The purple, that's freezing rain, blue obviously snow, and the green is rain. We go into late morning, and we are at noon right here. That's noon. So the freezing rain and the sleet is getting going in the central, southern parts of the state. Sterling Heights, Jamie Deere. Sterling Heights, you're going to be just on the edge of the rain versus freezing rain, and you will probably warm up some Saturday night. You won't have it as bad as other places, but you will have a ton of rain, 2 to 3 inches of rain. What will Muskegon get? Muskegon's in the mixture to mostly snow. I would say Muskegon, you're several inches of snow and several tenths of an inch of ice and maybe a couple of inches of sleet. So here we go into Saturday evening. This is 6 o'clock Saturday evening. Yes, 6 o'clock. And there you can see just a ton of freezing rain in the center part of the state. Still rain in the far south, snow in the northern half of lower Michigan. We go through the night, we go through the evening, late evening, and we're getting to, let's see, that would be 7 o'clock at night right there, okay? Freezing rain still going in Bay City and the Thumb and into Grand Rapids. The low pressure center inching northward, and that's a warming sign. As we go into the night, let's go to midnight right there. And that's the hope for some folks in Genesee County, in Gratiot County, in Kent County, Clinton County. If you get an ice accumulation, the hope is that some of you will get above that freezing mark and maybe even into the Thumb. It's a real fine line, and now I'm concerned about Bay City not getting to freezing and Midland not getting to freezing and Mount Pleasant and Clare not getting to freezing, and maybe keeping that ice layer that has developed. West Branch, Amy Rossman, West Branch, you are in the ice by afternoon and evening with snow, so you get a combination of everything. Sometimes that can be not as bad as just straight ice. Now, we're to, let's go into late Saturday night, Sunday morning. The whole storm starts to pull off. We get the snow back into the area. Not in Detroit, not in Ann Arbor, not in Jackson and Monroe. This is a different situation in the far southeast. You get a lot of rain, you get a shot of freezing rain, you get a warm up, and then maybe a few snow showers and some wind as we go into Sunday morning. Now we go to Sunday, 8 o'clock in the morning and 9 and 10, and the storm is done and the wind is dying off. Branch County, Brandy Fleming, you're going to be mostly on the rain side. You could have some mixture as you go into, looks like Saturday afternoon or evening. All right, now this is another thing I want to show you. These are the temperatures, okay? So I want to show you here. Here's Saturday at 11 in the morning. I'm sorry, 10 in the morning. And look at that freezing line down into Oakland County, northern Oakland County, down to Kalamazoo. Some folks asking about Kalamazoo. Any reduction for Kalamazoo? No reduction. Still plenty of rain. You get into the freezing rain, and then you get on the backside of it with a couple of inches of snow. You might get the warm-up in the middle of the night that I'm about ready to show you. This is Saturday afternoon and evening. And look at Detroit, Ann Arbor. You have a tough time getting below freezing. That's a good sign. You'll have a tough time. You'll probably get some sleet mixed in there. You might have a tough time having freezing rain. Okay, and then we go to the middle of the night. This is 1 in the morning. See that warm wedge? Do you see that warm wedge showing up from about Alma to Lansing and into the southeast part of the state? That warm wedge, that is the hope that would melt off right there some of the ice that could accumulate. But notice it hardly makes it to Grand Rapids. You're close, Grand Rapids. Northern Kent County, probably a lot worse than Southern Kent County. Same deal for into Gratiot County, Saginaw County. Southern Saginaw County, you might get some of that icing melting off. Northern Saginaw County, maybe not. And then we go there to 4 in the morning. Some of that warmth could get into the thumb, help a little bit, and then we're done with the warmth, and the cold wraps back into the area. So a lot of this is going to depend on what happens in that middle of the night period. Not so much for how much freezing rain you will get, but how long it will last, and will it melt off for you. So here is the Europeans' total snowfall forecast. I still think you got to cut it down some. You see those 18 inches there around, where would that be? That would be in the center part of the state, Houghton Lake or so, up toward Alpena. I think that's a little overdone. I think this is probably a 7 to 12-inch snowfall. And another thing I want you to notice is the big gradient from heavy snow to not much snow. That line right there, that's north of Grand Rapids. It's north of Saginaw. It's north of Bay City, around Mount Pleasant. That gradient is where the freezing rain and sleet will be, and probably stay freezing rain and sleet. So that southern edge of the heavy snow, that's the problem area. Montcalm County, Lydia Williams, you've got a mess because you seem to always stay colder. I'm going to say you're several tenths of freezing rain, at least an inch or two of sleet, and several inches of snow. Janet Laddie, Lansing, you get into the freezing rain, and it will be a mess by Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening, and you might melt off some Saturday night, but it is definitely going to be on the dangerous side. So there's your snowfall. Now, don't get too crazy with me on this, and don't freak out too bad. This is the accumulated freezing rain forecast off of the European model. Nikki Tutt, how will Saturday morning to early afternoon be in Kalamazoo? It's going to be a mess. You're going to start with rain. If you have to travel, do it as early as possible. Then it will change to freezing rain, sleet in the Kalamazoo area. Grand Rapids, how early Saturday AM will freezing rain start? Hey, let's go back here. Okay, so this is Saturday morning, 7 a.m. And then this is at 9 a.m. So I'm looking at sometime between 10 and noon in the Grand Rapids area. Now, again, don't freak out. This would signify a major ice storm. I think there is a strip that is a ½ inch to an inch of ice accumulation. Again, on the northern edge of this is where you'd have the greatest chance, highest chance of staying all ice and freezing rain and not melting off. Southern 2/3 of this strip could melt off some, and probably some of this is sleet and not freezing rain. So we're still looking at a ½ inch of ice in a lot of places. Sean Cahill, ground saturation has to be close to 80, 90%. I would say you are very close, and we will be saturated because I'm going to show you the last graphic here in just a minute, and that is the total amount of liquid rainfall. Tori Wessener, New Lothrop, you've got the freezing rain, and it's into Saturday evening, and maybe sometime Saturday night it melts off, and then you get back to some snow shower Sunday. You got to hope for the melt off. Everybody has to hope for that melt off, okay? So, again, this is overdone, but it does give you a good feel for where the freezing rain will set up across Michigan. And then one last thing for you here, total rainfall, and this hasn't changed much at all in the European in a couple of days now. So your brightest, darkest red in the far south, that's 3 inches of rain, some spots of 3 inches or more of rain. And the 2 inches goes all the way up to Bay City and maybe Mount Pleasant and the Clare area, 2 inches of liquid. As you go north, that's going to fall in the form of snow, freezing rain, and sleet. And as you go south, it's mostly all rain. And in between, it's a combo of everything. All right, let's take some questions here. What about Northern Genesee County as far as ice on Saturday? Yes, Northern Genesee County is going to be in that ice. I would say you're 1/4 to a ½ inch and some sleet, and you might get the melt off. But if you do, it's after midnight, Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Let's see. How much snow Sunday in Kalamazoo? Nothing on Sunday. The storm system is out of the whole area on Sunday. Washtenaw County looks like we missed this. True? Too naive? You will not miss the rain. You'll get a lot of rain. You probably will get some sleet, maybe brief periods of freezing rain, but I don't think it'll be too bad in Washtenaw County, and you're not in any of the watches, so that should be a good sign that you're in a little bit better shape. Joseph Radcliffe, Jackson, what do you think? I think you'll get into freezing rain and sleet in Jackson Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. Then you'll warm up and it will melt off back to a few snow showers. Berrien County, boy, that's a tough one. I think you're probably into the freezing rain, sleet, and snow Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. You probably will warm up some. Berrien County usually does, it seems like. Southern Livingston County, you freezing rain and sleet Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, probably a warm-up. Duncan, looks like GFS is putting this storm a bit more south. What are your thoughts? Okay, we look at the European and the GFS. GFS, to me, just something doesn't look right, so I don't trust it at all. It's cold, colder than the European. It's consistent too. You know, there is a potential they could meet in the middle and everything could shift south about 25 miles. But the GFS has a mixture into the Tri-Cities and 24 inches of snow. I've never seen a mixture and still be able to make it up that high. So I just don't trust the GFS. Something's wrong with it in this one. Right now, it'll probably jump on track. Again, this is still 48 to 72 hours out. Still room for adjustment. Things are quite consistent on it's a big storm. We just have to fine tune where that freezing rain and snow and how much of that will be. Fenton Holly area, Angela Aldrich. Fenton Holly, you will be into the freezing rain. Let's go back to this as we talk about what's going to happen in individual places. Okay, so let's go to Fenton Holly. You know, you're at 11 o'clock there Saturday, and you're into the freezing rain and the sleet. So you're into it through the afternoon and evening until maybe a warm-up comes that way. Farmington Hills, Novi, Leslie Lescano, Merlo Bertoloni. Hey, how did I do that? I'm Italian too. You're going to have some freezing rain and sleet, but I don't think it will accumulate a lot, and I think you will have a melt-off unless it shifts a little bit south. Lapeer County, that's a tough one too. You're about like Genesee County. You get into the freezing rain in the Saturday afternoon time period into Saturday night, and you might melt off for a period. We're talking 3 hours. So all of the accumulation of ice has to come off in 3 hours, which you can do so if it gets to 35, 38 degrees, and that would alleviate a lot of problems. Fremont, ice or snow, remind me, Fremont, remind me, it's near Muskegon. I would say you are in both and probably not a warm-up. No blizzard coming for anybody. Frankenmuth, okay. Frankenmuth, I think you get into the freezing rain. It looks like Saturday by noon to 2 o'clock. Sleet also, be heavy at times. Probably a quarter to a half inch of ice and sleet accumulation. And then you will be real close to the 33, 34, 35 in the middle of the night, Saturday night. Let's hope so. I feel there's still room for this to move back to the north just a touch from what else is going on in the hemispheric weather pattern. And then just some snow showers on Sunday morning. The snow Sunday morning, after the folks have changed over to freezing rain, the snow Sunday morning, southeast half of lower Michigan, not much, an inch or two. Northern parts where it stays all snow, you're definitely looking at quite a snowstorm. Someone asked about Traverse City. Traverse City, you're mostly all in the snow, a good solid snowmobiling snow. You know, the kind we like in Traverse City. It's a 7 to 12 incher around the Traverse City area, and it's a meaty 7 to 12 incher. Clare County, Don Van Bon, you don't get into the warm up. So you get what Clare County usually gets, the nasties. You get freezing rain, sleet, and then you change the snow, and you get probably 3 to 6 inches of snow, depending on if you're north or south. I don't know if there will be any blizzard warnings because this will probably be a fairly heavy snow as far as weight goes. So it may not blow around a whole lot. Hey, I need to figure out the Torrid Rosa Drifting Index, TDI, for these. I'll do that tomorrow. How much ice and snow in Bay City, Thomas Fick? Bay City, I'm concerned about. You've got, first off, you got a northeast wind at 40 miles an hour shoving water from Saginaw Bay into Bay City. You got a lot of rain. Then you've got freezing rain in the afternoon and evening with sleet. And then you've got maybe a few inches of snow. And I don't know if you get that melt off. So Bay City, you're going to be on the very edge of the melt off versus no melt off. In your power outages on Sunday are going to probably all be dictated by about a 3-hour warm up sometime in the middle of the night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Laura Briggs, M59, don't be on it Saturday afternoon. Do something there Saturday morning, or wait until Sunday when the storm is all moved off. Todd Kirby, so Detroit, all rain? Pretty much. I would say You might get some sleet, but pretty much Detroit, not a real big problem, except for 2 to 3 inches possible rain. And you know how the roads are in Detroit, and the drainage is horrendous because of the terrible roads. Let's see. Will this cancel flights coming in Saturday night? I'm not a predictor of flight cancellations, but probably you're going to have some difficulties. Hey, Kelly Frick, fellow MLiver, good evening. What about Ludington? Someone asks. Judy Dust, Ludington. I would say Ludington, you're pretty much all snow, and you should be in the 7 to 12 inch. And I would be on the lower end of that because you might get some sleet mixed in there. Will Grass Lake community see any real snow between Jackson and Ann Arbor? No, not any real snow there. Kevin Glaza, Lansing is a tough one. You get the freezing rain and the sleet by noontime Saturday. It comes down heavy in the Saturday afternoon time period. That's one thing. If you want any takeaway from this, probably do not be on the roads anywhere from I-94 northward Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening, because you're going to either have heavy freezing rain, heavy sleet, or heavy snow in those places. Oh, someone asked about Chicago. What about a drive around the lake Saturday morning to Chicago? You could go south into Indiana, cut across 80. You would be fine until you got into the Chicago area, and that's when you would get into the freezing rain once again. How much rain for Coldwater? You're in the 2 to 3 inch range. How does the storm compare to the 2013 storm? I think it compares in magnitude, but smaller area, farther north, and we will get some milder temperatures next week too. So there we go. That's about it. Thanks for joining me. I'll have more complete updates for you tomorrow as the data continues to roll in. It looks like the data is getting pretty consistent, meaning we can really believe the big picture, but now it's the fine tuning. Is the ice storm in Lansing, and does it melt off? What does it do in Jackson? What does it do in Ann Arbor? Flint, does it melt off Saturday night? Grand Rapids is a real tough one because you're just in this odd spot where the warmth may or may not just get into your area. There it is. I'll update you again tomorrow all day long. I'll be with you on Saturday. Sunday morning, I might be with you just briefly, and then I'm going to have to probably have a Bloody Mary after that on Sunday. Thanks for joining me. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Make sure you join the MLive Facebook group right there, Michigan Weather. A lot of updates coming on this storm in that from you also, our users on MLive, and we thank you very much for that. Have yourselves a great night.